Shake, shake, shake. That's tea.
There's
I almost had some coffee over the weekend.
A kid's song. Yeah, so how long do you think it'll be before you're able to have a coffee?
Before I'll be able to? That's a good question. I was even thinking about because it's kind of bargaining or whatever, thinking about like, what if I just drank coffee like 1 day a week or something like that?
That's a slippery slope, my friend.
That's the thing, right? Like, especially for me, like this is something I'm just totally aware of myself. I have 2 settings, full blast and off, and that's it. So yeah, maybe never, frankly. Like it was doing enough cumulative damage to my psyche and my blood pressure. And like, my dad had a massive stroke and his dad had the same thing. So it's like, if I want to die that way, continuing on with my coffee addiction, which the headaches proved that it totally was, just would not be great. So anyway, yeah, maybe never. Is what it is.
It's fun because I had a conversation the other day about when I had kind of quit smoking.
Yeah.
And there we go. That's better. I somehow had that set wrong.
Seth. Good morning, Seth. And Sue, you will never die. That's the goal, right? Like, get to the singularity, digitize my consciousness and have it exist for the rest of time. At least in this local space-time.
Yeah, so every once in a while I quit smoking quite a while ago, and actually I'm a little bit healthier thanks to Seth. So nice to see you, Seth. But I quit smoking a while ago, but every once in a while I break, and those are the days that I pretty much don't come home at night because I just want to keep smoking. But it happens like maybe once every 6 to 8 months, right? And usually the next couple of days are rough, but I'm at the point now where if it does happen, I can usually forget about it. But it took a long time to get to that point, and I'm not even sure if I'm off the slippery slope. So yeah, and Seth kind of, yeah, I'm glad you're still here, Seth. If you don't know who Seth is, he's doing some amazing things with Boyd. He's one of my favorite people in the world, and I'm glad that you didn't die in 2019. I'm really glad.
I agree. Actually, Seth, I'm glad you showed up this morning. I gotta book you for some time on the BluDAC DAClify thing, just so I can start wrapping my head around it. I know Bullshit Bulls wants to as well. Now that like the Uplift is getting its DAO shit figured out, with the Wyoming DAO LLC, we're gonna do the same for BluDAC in the near future. I have a really good outfit to help us do that. We'll start to kind of get everything fixed up so we can keep moving things forward in a super legit way. Should be pretty fun.
Hi, Asmodeus. Welcome. Glad you're here
on Twitch. Even
yeah, that's great. So yeah, like DAClify is pretty interesting. I mean, right? they had a Pomelo proposal. Speaking of which, if you want to come and join me over on the Generate EOS channel, we're going to be spitting up Pomelo pitch deck soon.
Hey, Seth just said we need developers. A, what do you need developers for? B, do you want to come on like this morning and tell us about it? Because yeah, it's just us in super chill mode this morning. Yeah, if you guys need developers, let us know what for, and I'll maybe put the word out to a few people. First people that come to mind instantaneously, Bad Gifter's been doing some incredible work for us at BluDAC, and I don't know, like Douglas Bentner's usually pretty busy, but I know he's really into this kind of thing, but is also opinionated. Let's put it that way.
I'll send you a link if you want to join. No harm done if you can.
Yeah, if you're busy. No, he's making brunch. All right. Well, hey, let us know. Just send us a message, whatever, and tell us exactly what you need, and we'll put the word out for that. On the BluDAC note, I learned how to launch the mines for us. So it was only our devs that could do it. So every once in a while we'd have to wait because again, like everybody has like crazy, insane full-time jobs on the BluDAC sort of collective. So I learned how to do it today myself, and I launched the Blue Axe pool this morning as a test. That is, from all that I could tell, functional. It might actually even be live right now. I set the time for 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So that's the first one that we have listed back. And I'll be launching more today and throughout the next few days. I kind of like the idea of doing it staggered. We're doing it all, in a batch because that was the amount of dev time that we could get, right? Like we were the members of our team could block out a time and just kind of rock and roll with it. But yeah, I kind of wonder if it wouldn't be more fun to have it staggered, to launch, a couple every other day or whatever it is. And have that be part of the, socials and all that shit too. Anyway, lots to think about on the BluDAC side, which I haven't been thinking about very much this month because there's some shit going on at Uplift. What are you gonna
do? So that brings me back. Like before we went live, I was telling you about our show this week. So today, obviously, we're just gonna chill because that's what we like to do. Tomorrow, we're gonna have Juan from Nifty Box on to do Shop Top with Nifty Box. And I couldn't remember. There was somebody else that I couldn't remember, but you just jogged my memory. On Wednesday, Bad Gifter's going to join us, along with Bullshipples. And we're going to dive into what's been happening with BluDAC. So that's the first half of our week right there. Yep. So please like and subscribe to our channel below. We're the most chill people you'll ever find on the internet, and we like it that way. Don't get us wrong. We're here, Man. That's the way that we do it because
it's where we live.
How
right?
You should be, right?
Right. I've seen there's really good produced shows of regimented content and stuff. It's fake. Just
some of them ridiculously fake, right?
Some of them are just really good. Some
of them are really good. I agree. Yeah,
and that's fun, right? But it's been a real pleasure to to know that show up in the morning. Jimmy and I are gonna do this show. It's gonna be awesome. Very often we talk to epic fucking people, and that just feels like a thing that I could do forever, right? And we get passionate about improving things in some ways, NFT line. And I get more excited about that. Even just the second you started talking about the fact that we're all chill and stuff, I was like, man, I'm not going to be chill on the day that we start showing people what our team is producing for the NFTs, just because it's the perfect distillation of how we started, right? We want to have this show where we have characters coming back, not just interviews that we do one time and then you never hear from them again, and it's just some thing that came on the show or whatever. No, we want you to get to know everyone, right? We want you to get to know Bullshipples and Bad Gifter and all these very real people that are doing very real things and working their buns off. Missing Crypto, freaking Ken Bozak, yada, 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 right? All of them. And it really feels like the direction that we're going for the NFT line is just the culmination of that. I'm excited about it. I was thinking too, how many people do how all your covers, right? Have you seen the Boring Stone freaking covers on Ethereum?
No, I haven't.
Dude, it's a huge NFT line, and it's just their covers.
All right, let me get back on that again.
I mean, you're so good at them. I just love them. And then we don't have to make it a big deal, but it'd be really cool to have them. So, right? Even if we only ever sold 10 and they were $1.
Yeah, we should do something like that, and maybe we can even donate them for various causes or something. I don't know. We'll see. But yeah. So I wanted to go over a couple other things too before we really get going. But yeah, we're not planning on going anywhere anytime soon. But it's interesting to me because it seems like there's very few questions as a comparison to when they first started coming in about there's zero since our last AMA, which is really interesting to me. There's no new questions about our AMA. About our white paper. So again, you can find it over on the Discord. It's pinned in the announcements and a few other places. But you can also still ask questions if you have.
I wonder, Jimmy, what do you think of walking through the white paper together? Maybe even bring a panel, get Bullshipples and TC and a few other people. I'd walk through all that stuff. We might even have to do it in parts because it's really long. But just to kind of get, and even some of the gallery creators or whatever, that might be a really fun thing to do as a panel series.
I like it. Yeah. So I think like I put the last article that I put up with some of the nuts and bolts from behind the regions and things like that, right? But like we could definitely do some of the, like I like the idea of the committees, putting the proposed committees that might go in.
Yeah,
walking through this and doing it on the show and having people interact with it. And
it's a good idea.
Yeah, that's a great idea. Maybe we can do that on some random Tuesdays.
Hey, did we get the account for Seth at the Ukraine Fund? That just is on my mind. So maybe we could actually start the show thing sooner. And just start doing like the covers, because like we have, how many covers do we have, right? You probably have like 18 trillion of them. We can go back in the day and like, you know, celebrate the fun thing, and even like, you know, put them up online, but then link back to the old show for people who want to go back and see how dumb we were a year ago. Right, but then you'll like put them out a lithium bit pool. All right, Roger, we can talk about that. That's interesting. That is interesting, actually. I like that.
Seth,
what was I saying before I got?
No, you were talking about putting the covers up, and like I think where you were going with it was maybe we could use some of those to
for the Ukraine, like literally just for that, right? Like that for you know the next month or something. Like just put one out a day, make them $10, and like literally give every bit of it to the Ukraine Fund.
Yeah,
so
and I know
we can do that through Weekend or
right.
I think they have I think they have a specific. The government put out specific crypto links for that stuff. But I've been talking to Nazar from Weekend a little bit. He's obviously going through some pretty insane shit, but just trying to keep up with them and you know, make sure they're okay.
Yeah, and I think Everstake as well. Like they're based in Ukraine too, and like they're thinking about doing something over on EOS. So there's a lot. Like, so if you guys know any organizations out there that are accepting donations for Ukraine, like let us know. And you know, we're more than happy to
yeah,
show
Nazar
those out, right?
Nazar will absolutely know. I think it's just a matter of yeah, getting the NFTs out there and then just, I think, like pushing it every day. Like we could just launch one a day, right? And however many we want to, you know, put out, or maybe it just lasts a day and everybody can buy as many as they want or whatever. But you know, just have the link to the show and the thing, and you know, that way people can actually, like, we can make it fun too, right? So people are actually getting some value out of it. Man, you can even just start at the beginning. How crazy is that shit?
The really early ones, yeah, those were good. The EOS weekly updates,
right? Let's go right back to the beginning of the channel. That might be a fun kind of celebration for everything that we've done. Yeah, let's do that. Like today or tomorrow if we can.
Okay. Yeah. So
yeah, Poland's. I've heard Poland's. I saw a stat yesterday that Poland's population has increased by 4%. All Ukrainians. Yeah, like Poland is you know, bending over backwards. And I mean, you know, it's smart that they would, right? Like they've been overrun by an aggressive power before, and it's not super duper fun. I know they've been the ones that we've been talking about, you know, giving them their MiGs if the U.S. can give them some like F-35s, not F-35s. Those are too new. Probably F-20s, whatever the fuck those are. Anyway, yay, stuff. I mean, like everything that and I've been reading up, as much as I don't, you know, engage in the news anymore. I've been, you know, paying a fair amount of attention to this just because it's pretty fucked up. And of course, we have people on the ground there that, you know, we know and love. The Ukrainians are doing almost infinitely better than they had any right to do. Which is, you know, it's tough to be excited. Like I'm excited about it, but like that's just harsh. Right, because it's going to be hell, and it's not going to stop. Right, like it's going to be hell for a while. Just it's inspiring, I guess, that they just said like "fuck you," not denied, and they're doing everything they can to stop an actual invading country in Europe. Who knew?
Right? Yeah, and I
mean, this is the other thing. Like, we couldn't hold Iraq, we couldn't hold Afghanistan. You can be damn sure that the Russians will never hold Ukraine.
The Russians couldn't
it's not going to happen.
Yeah, and I mean they couldn't hold Afghanistan. They couldn't hold a lot of these other countries as well.
Right.
And
it's not going to happen.
it's kind of blown up in their face, and I think they thought that they were just going to walk in and it was going to be all over and it was going to be easy peasy.
They believed their own Trumpian lie bullshit, right? Like, we're liberators, and then you get there and like, oh wait, the stuff I put on national TV, that Putin put on national TV in Russia, isn't real. Like that, you know, those kind of rude awakenings. I mean, I hope we see an infinite amount more of them.
There was an interesting thing that my friend told me about you know, Japan, and I guess he was cycling somewhere and he kind of cycled through half a barricade and got stopped by the police, and they asked him where he was going, and he said he was going through to go shopping, and they're like, okay, well, just don't stop at the center of the street. He's like, why? And he's like, well, the Russian embassy's there. And I couldn't figure it out. Like, why wouldn't they let him stop in front of the Russian embassy? But I guess they're, you know, stopping people from protesting, or I don't really know what's going on. But it got us talking about what the people overseas that aren't being fed the censored media must be thinking, right?
Well, I was listening to an interview with this guy who talked to his dad in Russia, and he flat out didn't fucking believe it.
Yeah.
Right? Because it's like it's not on their version of Fox News, so it can't be real.
Right. Yeah.
Anyway, we got 6 people in here. I would love a little gratitude from each one of you if you can drum it up. Again, big, small, it doesn't matter. Roger, I want to circle back to that Lifty and Bit pool. I think it's a really good idea. But I also want to, like, the new pools that go up, I want to start engaging the social media so we actually get, you know, a lot more attention around these things instead of just doing it, because that's the one thing that Blue is missing. Jimmy, what are you grateful for?
I'll answer that in a minute, but that's a nice view through the glass there into the We Support Ukraine below.
Yep.
And yeah, so I'm grateful for a lot today, actually, which is interesting. First of all, let's start with the easy ones. I'm grateful for daylight savings time. I know a lot of people hate it, but for me, it's a massive game changer because I get to start an hour earlier, which means I get to go to bed an hour earlier, which means
we should just keep this time. We shouldn't change back to a shitty time for you.
Yeah, well, I might not be here. We'll see.
That's true.
I'm trying to deal with Canadian government stuff, which is real fun because actually,
the whole thing.
Canadians are fast tracking Ukrainian. Refugees as well, but it's actually putting a bit of a dent in my ability to get back, and even to get my kids a passport is looking like it's going to be a year and a half to 2 years, which is insane.
That's a lot.
So, but I mean, it's just a little snag. It's not a big deal. It stresses me out a little bit, but I'm okay. I've got lots of things that are stressing me out. I got a message today that a guy I was covering for last year, he unfortunately he died. And he's had a chronic illness for a while, and yeah, unfortunately he passed away. So I didn't know him that well. I was just kind of covering his classes because we thought that giving him some time off would make him feel better, but it didn't. So actually, I'm just grateful to be alive and healthy. It's my second one because. Yeah, my missus, my kids, my friends, they're what matters. It's not money. It's not, scams or dickheads or people in the space. It's like we're pretty lucky, most of us. But then it does kind of hit close to home very hard when we've had people on the show who are going through the stuff that they're going through.
Yep. Feels. So I'm assuming that is for your mom. Whew. All right, Formula 38. Anyone? Hey guys, thanks for everybody chiming in with the gratitudes, man. I appreciate it. Reels. Well, Sue, please give her a hug for me, please. Double, please. Triple, please. All right.
So as well, yeah, please like and share this out, and hopefully we can get some people to come in and hang out and talk about some stuff. There's a couple things that are going on right now. I think until the 16th, there's the end event that's happening. We're probably going to do a live stream in the next day or two. Me and Kawe Moda might try to go into the end and get our asses kicked. That'll be fun. Right. So that's up. Again, I did an overview of I pulled a lot of things from the white paper, but I wanted to do another overview of all the worlds. I changed up some of the photos or some of the videos that were in it. So definitely go over and check out where we hide all the alpha.com. It's got an overview of the 7 servers that are, operational right now, with links to a bunch of the articles that have been written on where we hide all the alpha.com. And I also started a new article today about the shop list, which is a new site done by Tiny Miss B, Brittany, that again showcases all of the 8 worlds, I believe, eight regions, I believe, that are operational that people can go into and earn rewards. And it's filling up fast. I think there's quite a few shops on most of the regions. So if you have builds or shops, definitely go to the shoplist.notion.site and fill it out, but keep your eyes open for the article that details the list itself. And also, Corey and me maybe to go and visit some of these places and check them out randomly. Like if we pop into Uplift right now, just shops, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 shops. And I think we featured one of them, right? So it's pretty extensive list. And yeah, hats off, Brittany. Thank you.
Hasmodius was asking about the end event, so I saw the article on there, so I through that. So all this, man, seriously, I'm not gonna be fully happy until we have it set up. So we've got one of those auto posters that's posting one of these articles to all of our socials every single day, every day, for the rest of time.
Yeah, we need more auto posters. That's true. I do it, but I miss a day here and there. So
that's and they're so many of them are evergreen. They're going to be good 2 years from now, right? So we get a rotation up of all the articles that fit into that thing, and there's probably 40, 50 now, right?
Yeah,
and you're adding more, and you're adding more all the time, right?
Yeah, there's 142 of.
Sweet Jesus.
Yeah.
And at least 100 of them are because I know some of them are sort of contextual to specific sales that we did or whatever, right? So we wouldn't want to use those, but the vast majority are going to be the article about the shop list. That's just going to be as awesome now as it is 2 months from now.
Yeah. Yeah. And so, the last one that we did, even it's pretty up to date now. But we should maybe. So all of those, the majority of those are featured on the site. So definitely share that out. I waited months for the end to open. Now I don't have internet for the next 4 days.
Yeah, apparently I saw your post too about the crazy storm that was going on. It was a couple of days ago now. I mean, yeah, lightning over there gets pretty nuts. That's the one thing, we haven't had a good storm here since we moved. It rains every once in a while, but I liked the freaking lightning. Not when it knocks your internet out, obviously. That's lame. But generally, it's pretty cool.
I once had a TV blow up because of lightning. When I was a kid, it was quite interesting. The lightning hit the tree, followed the tree root down into the water well, shot into the basement, blew up the sub pump, and somehow short wired the wiring in the house and like took the TV out. And so the TV wouldn't work, except for some reason, the TV would still work with the Nintendo. But it wouldn't work when you tried to plug it into the wall. It would only work with the Nintendo, and we could never figure out why. That's my lightning story. But it was scary as hell, like to hear it hit the tree and then see the ground explode going into the well, like staring out the window. It just happened to be looking at it, and it was really weird. So, yeah. So what's So what's new with you? I know that you've been quite busy. You announced recently, well, I think probably on Friday, we're going to have Ken Bozak on the channel, or you might host him. I might go to bed. But he's doing the Shitcoin conference for the second year in a row. I believe it's the 4th of April-ish to the 13th or something like that.
4th and 5th.
4th and 5th, sorry. So that's going to be happening in Wynwood, of all places, in Miami.
Like you do.
You're going to be one of the speakers there, along with some other friends of ours in this Team Crypto, a bunch of other people. So you're gonna probably, or we're gonna have them on the channel on Friday, and we'll walk through that. I'm not really sure what else is going on in terms of events for the show or beyond the show.
I'm sorry, what?
I'm not really sure what else is going on in terms of events for the show or beyond the show, in terms of the metaverse. I think you might be attending a couple other things that you might have mentioned. I'm not sure if you can talk about
yeah.
that.
So I'm going to be, sorry. Yeah, I'm going to be speaking at Shitcoin some extent or another. I think I'm going to have my own block, but I asked Ken, if there's panels or anything, just throw me wherever you want to throw me. I'll hang out the whole weekend. Yeah, I missed the last one. I'm really grateful I'm going to be able to go to this one. And oh yeah, so I don't know if you guys know Heidi. She's part of the team that is putting NFT the movie together. Really cool lady. Started this fun little project where she's getting her, I think he's 5 years old, her 5-year-old son to give honest reviews of NFTs. And so like to say, hey, if you want to review it, send it over. I'm like, this sounds great. So I sent her one of my pieces of land. And she sent me a little preview of, her chatting with, her 5-year-old son about, hey, this NFT, what do you like about it? And she's like looking at the heart. I think it was like a piece of land of gratitude or something like that. And it was really, really adorable. It's like, I'm really, really glad I sent that over to her. Because I think that project is going to be super, fun. And so we started having a really fun conversation about, she was like, what should we build there? And like, well, obviously we need to get some banners up about NFT, the movie and stuff, but it'd be really cool if you went in, with your son and built like anything, just put some blocks on top of some blocks and keep that, because it really is, the secret sauce of this for me is we're encoding our history into this sort of digital strata, into a place that exists where you have neighbors, where you can go and walk through these things. You can go visit them later. Right. I tell the story all the time about going back to visit the Cathedral 1.0 and all of the gratitudes that are there from my family and all of my friends and our sort of extended family, where we were hanging out, once a week during the beginning of the pandemic when we couldn't hang out with anyone, right? Like, in meat space. And it's a pretty profound place for me now, right? And I hope that other people get to experience that by, having experiences, whether it's building something with their kid or, building, community events or whatever it is. And then going back to that, later and being able to really feel that. It's a big deal. So we were having those conversations over the last couple of days, and now, they want to interview me for the Uplift for NFT the movie. So that's fun.
Nice. I'm kind of excited to see this. Yeah, there's a new DeFi movie, a new NFT movie. Things are starting to hit mainstream. It's going to be really interesting, to see what happens over the course of I mean, we don't know if it's a bull, if it's a bear. We have no idea. I mean, it doesn't make any sense anymore, which is great because it actually means that it's mainstream.
I think you're moving, right. Yeah, I seriously like. I don't know either. I really don't. Like, I'm sort of, planning for the worst and sort of like cautiously optimistic that crypto is gonna keep going. But at the end of the day, like, NFTs don't give a fuck. They don't care, right? So like, there's gonna be projects that start. If this is a bear market and it goes, back down, which it kind of already has or whatever, right? But it goes back down a little bit more or whatever. I think we're still gonna be in a situation where NFT projects are starting and doing very, very well.
So we had KMO on the show last week, and we were talking about his life and his story and stuff like that. And he somehow had a friend who introduced him to this job, and he ended up going through a 3-interview process and ended up, having a final interview, the 3rd interview with Jeff Bezos and working for Amazon way back in the day in the 90s. And he did that for a while. He got a bunch of stock options, and he got out, and he was just like, well, it's a .com bubble. What the fuck? I'm just going to sell all my stocks. So he sold them all, right? The one stock that he probably shouldn't have sold. But it was interesting because, like, I was thinking about it, and it's like, if you were back around in 2018, the smart thing to do would have been to sell everything. Now, I had a friend who sold everything. And then Binance went from, $5 to $500. So that's right. But he got out at it, like he got out with a profit. So he was happy with that. And I think this is going to be really interesting to see this play out because the cycles are getting longer. The pixel art's getting better. The DeFi is, I mean, it's getting interesting. There's a whole other story there. But what I will say about this is now we've got reports that are coming from the US that, are coming out of the government that are saying that, like, everyone's going to have to be KYC registered. I don't see what the big deal about it is because I don't think it's kind of like that now already, right? Like, I get it, like, that we want to be decentralized, but the only way that we get to keeping our token value is if we are compliant, I think 10 years down the road, right? I don't think that we're going to go from where we are now with media and wars and all of this other stuff to just being like, oh, okay, yeah, you guys have enough people on your side, you win. We're just going to shut everything that exists down now, and crypto will be the way we do things.
Yeah, that's not. Yeah, no. I mean, it exerts a really cool kind of pressure on legacy systems that will change them. But yeah, I think it's definitely a bad idea to think that it'll just be like hey, these guys are all just going to go away and we're going to do this new thing now. It just won't happen that way. Now, granted, like my favorite example around this, right? Like when cell phones first came out, they're like, yeah, those are cute. You hold them in a fucking suitcase, or like a giant, brick phone or whatever it is. But like, we're always going to need landlines, obviously, and like teletypes and stuff like that. And we don't, right? Like that's so the technology can and will get so good that eventually it'll be how we do everything, and it's gonna I think change some really important things while it's happening.
Well, I like the people who talk about the time that we're in now as the biggest transfer of wealth in history, because that's kind of what cell phones and landlines did, right? Like one might have
communication wise,
replaced the other over time, but like you still had big players in each sector for a period, right? And so I think like you're still going to have these big players that are going to come in that, like, I mean, a good example are the Gemini twins, right? Like they've come in, they've created the Gemini exchange. Like they're not going anywhere, right? They've paid off all the right people. They've got all the documents signed from New York that they need to. Coin, I'm not American, so I get confused. What am I talking about? Coin, the big exchange.
Coinbase?
Yes, sorry. Coinbase. I wanted to say CoinStats, but that's not right.
Nope.
Yeah, so like Coinbase, right? Like they're pretty compliant. Like all these are compliant. I mean, Binance, they decided that, the only way to be compliant was to, create a whole other kind of sister site that was only operational in the US for US citizens, right? And so I'm quite excited to see how this all plays out. Now, like where we are is quite different because we're in I don't want to say that we're in the gaming space, but in a way we are. I think NFTs and metaverses are in more of a different space that isn't quite as regulated, but it will be over time. I think the one that's going to get cracked on down the hardest is probably going to be DeFi. And I'm just
honestly, maybe, right? Like I think it's possible, but then it's how, right? And I think right now they don't even understand what DeFi is most of the time in regulatory areas, right? Yeah, exactly. HSBC is most compliant with laundering money for drug lords. Yeah, that's the thing. My favorite thing that people say about it, crypto in general, right? It's like, oh, it's what criminals use. And like, okay, let's just do a dollar for dollar comparison, right? The amount of Bitcoin that's been used in crime, and it's all trackable forever, basically, right? For the most part, or dollars, and dollars will have, I don't know, 100 million times more crime perpetrated just in the LIBOR scandal. Like it's a ridiculous argument, and it always has been. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see. It's going to be interesting to see what regulatory body actually starts to do it, because the SEC is doing it a little bit, but they're doing it very badly. Like nobody thinks that they're doing a good job. I don't even think they think they're doing a good job. Like if again, if Ripple can get away with literally selling what by any measure is a fucking security, and they have a really good chance of getting off, then like it's over, right? Like the SEC is pointless. Now they're actually going after like some like actual scams and shit, and that should be their job, right? Like if people are like literally scamming people, that's a great thing for the SEC to be fucking around with, and that'll be great for them. But it'll be interesting to see how all that stuff plays out for sure.
But I mean, like as much as people are concerned with crypto in general, I guess what I'm trying to say is like, I think in the metaverse of the gaming or the NFT space, what's the right parallel to like, the 1980s? It's like, hey, those kids are hanging outside the convenience store and we think they're stealing stuff. Or hey, those kids are playing video games, right? Like it's
what?
Right? Like there's a differentiation between where people's eyes are looking. And most people aren't paying attention to pixel art that's being sold for multi-million dollars, right? Like the big corporations aren't paying attention to this. They're not worried about somebody dipping into their coffers and stealing out part of the money that they're making, right? They're not worried about metaverses overthrowing the financial system. And that's kind of what I'm saying about DeFi is I think with DeFi, where the pushback is going to come from is going to be the organizations that are feeling like they're losing market share. Does that make sense? Yeah. Right? Like the gaming companies are going to adapt and probably plug into it, right? Like
it's inevitable. Yeah, in some way. Yeah. It'll become unfeasible for them not to at a certain point, right? Like there will just be too much money on the table for them to avoid, and that helps everything else we're doing, right? Like every big project that gets into NFTs, makes the space more available and more open for us to innovate in and all that shit. I think I think we're in a much better spot than, because I worry about it sometimes, but the more I look at not what any of these regulatory bodies are saying, because it's usually dog shit, because they'll just do something different, but what they're actually doing, right? Like the track record has been going after things that really do look like scams for the most part, right? And that's pretty good. Like, right? Like they're not just going after, every Tom, Dick, and Harry DeFi thing that is doing things in a very different way than traditional finance. And that could change. And obviously we keep an eye on that, but so far they just haven't been doing it.
Yeah, I'm interested to see how other things play out too, because we're in unregulated spaces. We had this conversation maybe a month ago on the show where we were talking about NFTs even, and different authors, or I guess they're not authors, different creators that would potentially, using other people's art to capitalize upon it and things like that. So I do think that the space has a long way to go, but as well, there's a lot of verification that goes on in different areas with different artists. I saw a video clip today of one of the first live NFT gallery shows that was happening live, and people were wandering around, and there were television screens, basically, or monitors on the wall that were playing through, NFTs that were animated. And I thought, wow, how cool is that? You can actually walk into a gallery and you can actually see some of these NFTs that are amazing art, posted on the walls. And I think that we're starting to see that more and more and more. And as the metaverses expand, as all of these platforms expand, gallery viewings is one of the things that I'm most excited about, actually, with the Uplift and where we're headed. Just being able to open that up for a day or a week or a month, or like potentially forever, depending upon the project or where different people lie, right? Like,
yeah, I think that's I agree. I think that's gonna be really fun. I guess the other thing too, we could sort of, what can I say about this? We had a great conversation with your buddies over at EOS, who I've loved since the very beginning of EOS, way back in the early before 4times. And I think we're going to be doing some really cool stuff together in this quarter.
Yeah, that's really exciting for me, because like this is where worlds collide, and it's two of my favorite groups of people of all time. So yeah,
it's really like that's why we took the meeting, because like anybody who Jimmy loves this much, instantaneously let's look at that. But yeah, we had a great chat, and I think there's some they want to start doing some stuff on Wax, and I think we can do some stuff together. But I think it's going to lead to a lot more stuff, frankly. I think there's some really fun possibilities there. So
yeah, Jimmy's pretty careful about his recommendations. He doesn't recommend
apparently
people very often.
Last two recommendations, Tim from EOS and Chan, fucking both home runs.
Fair enough. Yeah, I'm glad. I'm happy. I'm excited for the days when collaborations become commonplace, and we can leverage things, skills and talents from other people, right? I mean, it's I hate baseball, but baseball is the perfect analogy, right? Like, the shortstop is way more agile than the left fielder, but like, it's a completely different game, and you can have an all-star in both positions, and you can have projects working together that excel at different things. And that's what the win should be, right? That's where everyone in this space should be looking, because if you're trying to build an empire on your own and you're not collaborating with other projects and taking in both learning opportunities and giving opportunities, then you're going to fall behind. And this is maybe what the problem is with the legacy system trying to keep up with all the innovation in crypto, is they're trying to do it all themselves, right? And the amount of people that we've been able to collaborate with just in our 1 year, by the way, I'll bring this up again, not quite this week, but maybe next week, the Uplift will have been operational, like out there in the public on the blockchain for 1 year, for 12 months.
Yep.
All right. And, one of the early collabs that blew my mind was the upgrading of Swineland and Borvalis lands from NFTs that weren't even the uplifts, right? Like, we allowed people to come in with their lands NFTs from another project and uplift them into a world that we created, that we spun up. And that was like a really, for me, that was like kind of an eye opener, because it wasn't something that I had thought of, but like it worked so well, dude.
Can confirm.
Hey, I'd love to have Kira on the show. If she's got time, please hook us up, because she does some amazing stuff. You can see some of her stuff over at the Rocket Gallery, Rubik Cube Gallery as well. But yeah, again, I think it's a pretty relaxing Monday, which is kind of nice, Corey. So tomorrow we're gonna have one on Nifty Blocks. There's a new thing that you can do on Nifty Blocks where you can whitelist people and you can fight the bots. That's really exciting. So we'll be here tomorrow for Shop Talk with Nifty Blocks. That'll be fun. And then 1 hour later than normal, so at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, Bullshit Wolves and Bad Gifter are planning to join us on Wednesday for Our Land is Ascendant. I think you came up with the name for that one. We're going to be talking about BluDAC and some other things that are going on there with Our Land. So, yeah, Thursday, no plan, but well, we've got a plan, but nothing confirmed yet. And Friday, hopefully Ken Bozak to talk about Shitcoin 2022. So again, if you're out there and you're listening and you want to come and join us and tell us about what you're building in the Uplift or what projects you're working on or what NFTs or DeFi or what you're doing to change the space. That'll be really cool. We're probably going to do a couple offbeat shows this week as well. I'm planning to do a Asian-based daytime Jimmy and Cowie go and get our asses kicked in the end episode today or tomorrow. And I think we're going to have a Hudo Gallery on for a new NFT series that he's creating. Which is really interesting because I think part of it is going to be funding sports for kids through his NFT series release, which is pretty cool. So, but he's Australian based, so we'll probably do that, more reasonable time for people on this side of the world. But yeah, that's what I got going on. Do you have anything going on that I don't know about this week, Corey? Are you planning on doing anything? Because
my biggest priority, again, we had some very constructive meetings with all the lawyer teams around the buyout or purchase or whatever you want to call it, and so that's my main focus. Like that plane is landing but hasn't been landed, so we need to get that squared away so we can get on to doing the odds and end sale and actually getting the team paid something at least for all the work they put in this month.
We've been working our asses off.
Yeah, it's a lot. and seriously, like people, not everyone really understands this. You guys and well, me, we're all working for free right now. And on the promise that we know we're going to be able to deliver on. And it just, the more I think about it, the more the way that we're organizing the DAO token stuff is just brilliant. Tuttle really knocked that shit out of the park. Just because no matter what happens, it's going to give us sort of, I think, incentive to be creating something really powerful, along with all the landholders that they're going to get a little piece of it as well. So
you know what the best part about working for this team is since we've started working for free, I haven't heard one person ask when we get paid. They're all like, how do we fucking create value for the community and make this thing go into next gear, which is really beautiful and amazing. And there's a lot of community members that have been working their tails off to continue to promote, to continue to build. And I guess that's my last gratitude for the day is just thank you for everyone for still being here and being with us. Because the metaverse, really, it's not going anywhere.
We're at the Atari level of the metaverse. People are still understanding what it even means. And that part, and Rocky Collar, I'm glad you're here this morning. We're talking a lot about the galleries and encoding our history into it. And I haven't taken the time to experience a lot of the other metaverses as much as I probably should. Just really focused on this, but it is a firm suspicion of mine. There's a lot of tech that's flashier than the Uplift, right? You can't go in there and it's going to end up clogging and not working, and you can't build anything when you're in there. But it looks really amazing, and it's really, really good for raising money. But seeing the rampant, like looking at the map, the 3D map on the Dune map, world map thing for Genesis, right? Or for, the areas of gratitude that are starting to build up, or for Chicken Ka, right? Like that to me is all the marbles, because every single one of those builds, is going to be a 1-to-1 NFT at some point, right? Like that, being able to express that just the avalanche, the tsunami of creativity that we have seen in our community so far, like, holy crap. And like, I don't see that anywhere else. And again, very open to being, proven wrong about that. Because again, like I think the more awesome shit that's going on in the metaverse across all the projects, the better all of us are going to do. I really do. Like, and again, like it's the people that are still here in 5 years that are going to be crushing it, right? And a lot of these projects, will probably be irrelevant in 5 years, and we won't, because we're just not going to quit.
And we have some amazing friends in the metaverse space doing their own metaverses, right? Nifty BC,
Mm-hmm.
he's over there doing his thing. Like he comes and collaborates with us. He's gotten a ridiculous amount of plots actually the Uplift, and we've been featured in some of his metaverse event shows, and the one that he utilizes, right? We've got GNO, Gnome guys, and Mercies that we hang out with a lot on the show. And I think that the collaborations and potential to cross ideologies is going to be really interesting, right? Like there's going to be things that they're going to blow us out of the water on, but at the same time, there's going to be things that we're going to blow them out of the water on, right? It's just the platform that you choose to use, right?
Right. And yeah, and we're all throwing spaghetti at the wall, right? Mm-hmm. I'm really grateful and hopeful at the same time that I genuinely believe that our sort of organizing principles and what at core we are valuing, right? It's not just the galleries or gameplay, it's both, right? We want to think of ourselves as the platform layer from which we, develop tools so that people can create themselves to do really amazing things. Like that's what spawns all of the myriad of things. It's like the difference between like, AOL and Chrome, right? Like in AOL, like in the early days, like you couldn't make a website. You had to have them make a website, right? Does that sound like Decentraland? Because it should, right? Whereas Netscape comes out, and then suddenly everybody can make one, and now you see the internet, right? And so like I think that's really, really important, in the way that we're thinking, is that we don't want to be the product. We want to be the platform from which the product arrives, from which, where everybody can do the things that they want to do. Right. Okay. Yeah, absolutely. We can. I did see your Telegram. Sorry, as far as the Rocket Gallery, we're gonna host a gallery grand opening event for the new thing that they're doing with the NFT kids, which, I mean, we should visit that world again soon as well. We could do cool. Yeah, Immersive is a great example of like, I love what they're doing. And we've had them on a bunch. We should actually have them on again. They're doing really, really cool things with this medium, and I'm super stoked about it. Another one where like if I go into any metaverse, Jimmy, we should just like go in there and do something. Like we need an embassy there anyway, right? We should do that.
I know, like I tried to get one, but I fell asleep, and then I missed the thing. And I think maybe I'm not sure if the writer guys even got one. Like Kenny might have too. Like he might have messed that up as well. Like I can't remember. Oh yeah, but it was really.
Let's have him on and be like, hey, how do we get? Just like print us some land, dude. Come on, it's like wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Say no more. I suppose we at some point we'll be able to afford getting them off the secondary market once we get back on our feet a little bit. Anyway, home slice. I go to the bathroom pretty soon, so let's rock and roll. Thank you to everyone who hung out with us all morning, Monday morning and chill. Yippee freaking doodah, choppity chop chop.
Tomorrow, wow, from Nifty Blocks. For
Yes.
Talk with Nifty.